It's June 14th. JLD here, and welcome to MSTR today. Sorry for the late drop of the episode. Had a little early morning adventure with my son, Bo. But in this episode, we'll be talking about it's going to 1 million. That's Bitcoin. Also, a global M2 liquidity update. MSTR FUD history, something that some of you may not be aware of. That's pretty interesting. Also, how dumb is Jim Chanos? I mean, you'll have to make your own decisions, but this video, wow, don't miss it. Plus, some epic Michael Saylor video clips. This video is not financial advice, but please do comment below. Let me know where you're watching from on this weekend, and let's dive on in. Okay, today's first post is from the Bitcoin therapist who says, "This is my quant." Who is he referring to? Well, Michael Saylor's post that says, if it's not going to zero, it's going to 1 million. And Michael Saylor just posted that 1 day ago. That was yesterday, because he believes it. I believe it. It's inevitable, as they say. The Bitcoin therapist also wants us to know that the global M2 supply is signaling a Bitcoin price target of 160,000 by the end of the year. As you can see, it seems to track at a decent pace. And here we are right here. Looks like we're going to go up, up, up. But as per usual, only time will tell. Strategy wants us to know that we're scaling our pot of Bitcoin and its density. Boom, boom, boom. And they are doing that at such an amazing level with the 4TM, the MSTR, ATM, Strike, Strife, and Stride. Let's go. Boom. Chris says, who remembers the FUD around the ETFs in 2024? Me neither. MSTR is up over 660% since. We'll be saying the same thing about the current FUD in 2026, and we definitely will. I mean, look at this. ETFs will destroy strategy. This is what people were saying. They're like, look at this. It went up, then it went down, and it's just been chopping. And ETFs will destroy strategy. Then ETFs launched and up and away. So let's just realize that's a $332 increase in 663%. I think people that ignored the FUD then were happy, just like I think people that ignore the FUD now will also be happy. I've got some great video clips you're not going to want to miss, so let's just kick on in and enjoy.
You've been very successful, but what's your biggest regret in life?
Good question. Probably that I never got to 6.15. I didn't buy the dip hard enough, or the top for that matter.
My advisor told me to diversify out of my Bitcoin position. And like an idiot, I listened. That decision probably cost me $1 billion or $2 billion.
In those days, you could get a Bitcoin for $200, and I didn't buy nearly as much as I should have.
What's your biggest regret in life?
Not stacking hard enough.
Someone said it was either worth zero or infinity. I thought that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. Anyway, this is where I live now. Spare any sats?
Had a guy, after 30 years in business and an engineering education, reasonably educated, but not a classically trained economist, not an Austrian economist. I am struggling with the time-honored question, what is money? I need a liquid, fungible asset which will store my economic energy for an indefinite period of time. And so what is money? I'm looking for money. And eventually I get to gold. And I'm thinking, should I buy $500 million of gold? And, my attorney, he looks at me and goes, Mike, I remember when gold was $800 an ounce back in the 70s or the 80s, and then it went nowhere for 20 years, and you should be careful about that. And it's kind of dead money. And then so I'm sitting at this table and I'm watching the world burn while all the Wall Street guys get rich and the talking heads on CNBC say what they're saying. And I'm looking out at Miami Beach and I'm looking at Collins Avenue, and every car is there's no cars on the road except for an Amazon truck, which just makes me angry. One Amazon truck going by. And I've got 82 birds in my backyard and they're hunting for worms because all the restaurants in Miami Beach shut down. So whoever was feeding them is not feeding them. So I'm watching us strip the world back to the Stone Age, right? A devolution. And I'm staring over my pool, and I look at Eric, and I say, Eric, tell me about that Bitcoin thing again. And Eric was a crypto entrepreneur, and he had been investing in digital assets in crypto, and I had dismissed him 2 years earlier in 2018. I was like, oh, that's probably just a scam coin. That's going to collapse. But, everybody finds this when if I tell you got 6 months to live, you would go looking for a cure. And if I told you every asset that you hold in Canada is going to be seized from you within 6 months,
that could happen.
You would think about how you're going to get your money out of Canada.
Yeah, we already thought about that.
And the point is, you didn't think about it for the 20 years of your career when it just wasn't the priority.
Yeah.
And then when you're faced with a crisis, a challenge, you start thinking.
Okay, now we're moving on to the Bitcoin therapist who says short seller Jim Chanos doesn't believe Strategy's MSTR should be trading at a premium. He compares it to a real estate holding company. Bitcoin is the number one collateral in history. Saylor and company hold nearly 3% of the supply. Thoughts? And by the way, I would love your thoughts before I press the play button on this in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this video. But for me, Jim Chanos, who supposedly knows something about finance, supposedly, is so clueless about what Michael Saylor is doing with Bitcoin, has not put in any time, energy, or effort to understand the unbelievable Bitcoin refinery that Michael Saylor has created, is calling him a salesman. This is the greatest financial engineer of our lifetime. Jim Chanos is going to get destroyed by this short position. He's going to come on in like 6 or 12 months, way after he's been destroyed. And he's going to pretend that he sold in time. He's going to be like, oh, I ended up selling before it skyrocketed. No, you didn't, Jim. You went down with the ship. You got destroyed. You're going to lie about getting out in time. And that's okay because you're going to try to save face, but you're getting destroyed because you're clueless. And to anybody watching this video, it's like, to me, it's just so obvious how early we are, because even people like Jim, he just can't understand this. He can't grasp it. He's so clueless. And wow, I'm so proud of you for just understanding the greatest financial trade of what I think is going to be our lifetime. So Jim, Mr. Clueless, take it away.
Michael Saylor is a wonderful salesman, but that's what he is. He's a salesman. And what he's selling investors is the concept that you give me your money and I'm just going to go buy Bitcoin. And hopefully the value of my stock trades at a premium to the value of that Bitcoin. And so as long as I can keep doing that, I generate value. And this is, of course, I called it financial gibberish because on top of that, he also said in your interview, he said, the company should not just be valued on the basis of the Bitcoin holdings, but on a multiple of the profits that accrue from when I do this financial alchemy. And I pointed out on social media, I said, well, that's akin to saying, well, my house that rose in value from $450,000 to $500,000 last year is not worth $500,000. It's worth $1.5 million because it's worth the $500,000 plus a 20 multiple on the $50,000 increase. And of course, that's absurd. But that's the claim he's making.
Let's be real. If you've ever tried to invest, especially as a beginner, you've probably asked yourself, how do I even find good stocks? What should I buy or sell right now? And seriously, what the hell is going on with the market today? I ask myself those same questions all the time. And that's exactly why I started using Investing Pro, the powerful new platform from investing.com that helps you make smarter investing decisions without drowning in information overload. One of my favorite features, Warren AI. It's like ChatGPT on the stock market, but with real-time data-backed answers straight from investing.com's massive financial database. Want to know why NVIDIA dropped yesterday or why now is a good time to buy Tesla? Just ask. Warren AI gives you instant, up-to-date insights you can actually act on. I recently asked it where to invest $10,000 right now, and the list of stocks that returned, fire, full of actionable ideas I hadn't even considered. Bottom line, if you want to invest smarter, faster, and with more confidence, Investing Pro with Warren AI is a game changer. Check it out now at investing-referral.com/MSTR. Online shopping has never been easier, but this ease is new enough that we remember a time when entering all our credit card info every time we purchased something online was the norm. Luckily, we don't have to do that anymore thanks to Shopify. That's right. That purple Shop Pay button that makes it seamless to purchase online is powered by Shopify. And Shopify doesn't just make it easy to buy, it makes it incredibly easy to start a business, no matter your experience. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and they make it super easy to get up and running with beautiful, ready-to-go templates and built-in marketing and email tools. Worried about tracking inventory, payments, and analytics? No stress. Shopify helps you manage it all from a single dashboard. And back to that iconic purple Shop Pay button, it's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/MSTR. Go to shopify.com/MSTR, shopify.com/MSTR.
And let me just interject really importantly here. I'm actually doing what he is advocating, right? I am selling MicroStrategy securities to buy Bitcoin. Let's be clear, it's a hedge trade. I don't know where Bitcoin is going to go.
And it doesn't matter to you, actually.
Well, it doesn't matter. The premium compressing matters to me. It's important to understand that in 2024 and 2025, mostly at the end of 24 and 25, MicroStrategy has sold $35 billion, roughly, of securities, $33 billion in common and convertible into common, and $2 billion in preferred, most recently. The market for the preferred stock that he's selling is tiny relative to common. Let's be clear about that. And in his own words that you just played back, he makes a case that you have to be crazy to buy these preferreds, right? He's going to pay you a dividend, maybe. It's not redeemable, it's perpetual. And if I don't pay the dividends, they're not cumulative. I don't have to pay the back dividends. So, who in their right mind institutionally would buy these preferreds?
Wow. Like Chandler from Friends would say, could you be more dumb? Okay, let's go ahead and move on over to a brilliant person, in fact. And I'm going to say, Michael Saylor, take it away.
Our business strategy is to be 100% Bitcoin. And so we will always buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is our hurdle rate, and there are a couple of reasons for that, really almost three. One, we want to be neutral because I want to help hundreds of companies, and I can't afford to play favorites, and I don't have enough time to be invested in just three of them. The second is all of our credit instruments we sell, those are all based upon a homogeneous credit risk. You're holding Bitcoin. Are there any complications? No. If I were to invest in 22 things, then there would be 25 pages of disclosures for each thing, and there'd be 250 pages of consideration. And I don't want to complicate the decision my investors make. I want to be hyper transparent. If one of them were to work differently than Bitcoin, if it was better or worse, the company becomes opaque. And it becomes opaque, it's hard for people to understand and to trust us. See, part of our value proposition is because you know exactly what we're going to do, if you disagree with it, you can short us with 20x leverage. And if you agree with it, you can go long with 20x leverage. And you could put on $1 billion bet that's good for 4 weeks. The last thing you want is for me to say, oh, we're investing in a new business and we're very excited. And it might, and it just screws up that guy's $1 billion bet and that guy's $1 billion bet. And now they're like, I can't trust the company. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm just going to sell. I don't want to play the game. So our job is to be neutral, Switzerland with regard to the ecosystem, and make everybody successful, but also to be laser-like in our business model, which is we're going to create equity, which is going to be levered Bitcoin. We're going to attempt to outperform Bitcoin with leverage. And we're going to create credit instruments that strip volatility and risk and performance off of Bitcoin. And we're going to keep doing it the same way. And I think all these other businesses are great opportunities for private equity investors, venture capital investors. They have other pools of capital that is not invested in Bitcoin. The way you could think of it is my $65 billion of Bitcoin is pledged to support the equity and to support the bonds and support the preferred stocks, and I need to make sure that pledge remains inviolable. And I need people to say, that's what they're going to do for the next decade. And if I believe that, then I will buy something and I will hold it for a decade or 20 years or 30 years. We want people to know what we stand for. And this is what we stand for, Bitcoin forever.
And there you have it, another episode of MSTR today. And as you can see here, my purchase yesterday was for 0.56 share of MSTR. I filled it at $376, and it was a $210 purchase. And this is what I do every trading day of 2025 as I continue to stack. My DCA portfolio reveal is coming tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And hey, let's move to HODL the line, because we only have 16 days left to HODL this line. Of course, Bitcoin was not going to make it easy. Of course, the global macro environment was not going to make this easy. You know, we've slid now down to about 104,500 at the time of me recording this. I mean, who knows where it is when you're watching this, but that's where it is currently right now at this moment. We still have a buffer there. I'm looking at a buffer. It's not quite the buffer I'd love to see at this point with 16 days left, but we all know that Bitcoin can go drastically up or down in the matter of minutes. So a buffer is only what a buffer is, and it's inevitable. The direction that we're going over the long term, short and medium term, who knows, but inevitable in the long term. I believe it. I know you believe it as well. And like Michael Saylor loves to say, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.